York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Look, man, it's Ebro in the morning. Laura Styles is here. Rosenberg's out. He's on assignment with the WWE today, but we on UFC mode.
Boom, boom.
Tyron Woodley. How are you,
man? I'm doing good, man. Happy to be back on the East.
So look, where you from?
I'm from St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to get right to this. One of the things that comes up when you start doing research on you is you and Dana White. So I want to get right to that. And
right,
so Dana White says after one of your fights, was this the last fight?
Yeah.
He said people don't want to watch, and people said people were booing inside. I went to look for audio of people booing inside. Couldn't find that.
Yeah.
What's your feedback to that?
My feedback to that is that our sport is a sport in which fighters and fans deem a good fight as a bloody bath, and two guys going back and forth. My job is to dominate you. I'm not going to be in a bloodbath. You're not going to be in a situation where it looks like you won the fight. My job is to shut you out completely. No tools that you have that you can utilize in the Octagon. And sometimes people want me to defend my fight style, but if you go back and you do the research, 18 of my wins, 11 of them are KOs or submissions, and 9 of them in the first round. So I got some of the most devastating knockouts in the UFC, and a lot of these fights take place in a different way because people don't want to get close to me. So now they're more cautious. And at the end of the day, I'm the champ. So the strap around my waist, you got to come get. When I fought that fight against Damian Maia, the stats that they didn't show is that this dude was on a 7-fight win streak. His last 12 opponents he took down. He's the greatest jiu-jitsu guy who's ever came into the UFC. And he tried 24 times, and he came up short 24 times. He couldn't buy a takedown. After I tore my labrum in the first round. So I think the mind and the mentality of a champion that even though you succumb an injury, I knew what it was. I tore my left one before, and I said, you're not getting my belt today. And that mentality don't come just from fighting. It comes from where I was raised at. It comes from where I was born. And that's what people don't recognize. So I just got to stay focused on what my goals are and what my mission is.
But having the head of the whole UFC come out and say that people don't want to watch you, the fights are too boring. Doesn't that hurt your purse? Doesn't that hurt your ability to make money? Or does that create what is he trying to create like in some ways that you're a villain and somebody that's got to be taken? I don't know what he's trying to do there.
It's tough to say what he's trying to portray, but the thing is, look at the way I got the strap. I knocked out the one of the best welterweights of all time, who was fighter of the year back-to-back, has some of the best title fights that we've ever seen. Robbie Lawler got knocked out in 47 seconds. That's record-breaking time. Nobody has stopped anybody in welterweight championship history that fast, and he didn't land one punch on me. So if I look at that and I look at some of the other KOs and the way that I've dominated guys that have been around the game way longer than me, you got to realize I don't even have that many fights in the UFC. So for people that have like 20 or 30 fights in the UFC, I was able to do it in under 10 fights. And I fought the number one contenders, former champions, on purpose. And when you fight against those guys on those high levels, it might not be a blowout. It might be a game of chess. It might be one mistake, one move.
And if you try to go in wrong, you might get blown out.
In every fight, like think about my last 5 or 6 fights, everybody got knocked down. Some guys are tough. I'm not going to let you take me out. I knocked out Wonder Boy 3 or 4 times. Both fights he got knocked down 3 times. Damian Maia got knocked down twice. Robbie Lawler got knocked out. In the fights before that, everybody has experienced the power. So I can't expect them to want to come forward. They watch what happens when you come forward. You go to sleep.
Have you ever had a conversation with Dana White about this?
Yeah, I've had conversations with him. I said, try to let me where my lady at? Make sure I don't say nothing, no BS. I had a conversation with Dana, and after my last fight, I said, "You recognize I tore my labrum in that fight, right?" And I said, You telling the world that your champion is a boring fighter. When I come back and you find out that this is torn, which it is, because I felt it was, I slapped tore my shoulder, basically almost ripped that bitch off the bone, and I still went out there and I fought and I won. So I need for you to go back and regurgitate some of those statements, because any other fighter, oh, this girl did the spinning back fix, broke her arm, she's so tough, she fought through and lost.
Right.
I fought through and won, not 3 rounds, but 5 rounds. So I talked to him about that, but at the end of the day, all you do is keep winning. I mean, I'm gonna wipe out the division. So
do you? I mean, I've had this. This is my own theory,
yeah.
Right? When it comes to black fighters,
yeah,
right, especially smart ones,
yeah,
who aren't just out here talking crazy and saying crazy headline clickbait stuff who are actually skillful, calm, right? There's this thing that for some reason, and it kind of, I think Floyd wanted to become a villain in the world, and pay-per-view numbers went up, and every Cinco de Mayo he was having a fight, and the numbers went up, so he became this like super villain, and everybody hated him or loved him. He was this polarizing figure. And I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to put you in the pickle of being someone who is either beloved or hated, so that it creates this controversy, and obviously viewership goes up when there's more controversy, right?
I think a sport is a sport, but we're in entertainment. We can't really call the UFC a sport, because if it was a sport, the best guys are going to fight the best guys. No matter if you're talking shit, no matter if you're wearing a pimped out custom suit, no matter what you look like, you're going to fight for the title because of that. Guys can finesse their way into a strap right now. And for me, I'm looking at the division. My toughest matchups are behind me. Who do you have that can beat me? You can't show me a person on the roster. You can't import somebody in from a different country. So whether you like it or not, I'm not going nowhere. When I leave, my last fight is a title contender or challenger or whatever the heck you want to call it, is going to be when I retire. I'm never going to fight another 3-round fight. I'm never going to come out of the blue corner again in my career, and they're going to have to deal with it. So the sport side of me, I've always tried to knock everybody out. If it didn't happen, I ran out of time. If I had more rounds, it would have happened. So that's my mentality. Find an opening when you see it explode. And I've exploded in the 5th round. I've exploded in the 4th round. Back in the day, they used to say I couldn't explode because I had those too many muscles. And get in the later rounds, those muscles are going to fatigue. And then most of my damage in, 2 of my title fights happened in the 4th and 5th round. So I know what I'm in this sport for. I'm going to be the greatest welterweight that's ever fought in the Octagon. You think about Muhammad Ali, he wasn't getting that credit when he was fighting. We love him now. We wearing the Roots of Fight shirts, everybody representing. At that time, they hated Muhammad Ali. They wanted to see somebody beat him. They hated what he stood for. But now they respect him. I'm okay.
Prepared for the hate? You're prepared for the hate all day.
Because at the end of the day, I'm providing for my family. You're making a crap load of money. I'm in the greatest sport in the world right now. It's the most booming sport. And I'm going to be the greatest welterweight of all time. And I think my fights are going to be studied down the road. I think people are going to be like, man, he out-strategized a jiu-jitsu guy. He outstruck the striker. Many people, Robbie Lawler was a boogeyman, and he got snuck by me. You look at Carlos Condit. His coach came out and said nobody want to strike with Carlos Condit. And I took that offensive, and I said, I'm going to show you right quick. And I went out there and I outstruck him. I outstruck all the best strikers. I wrestled all the best wrestlers. So whatever realm you take me into, I'm going to beat you in that realm. Not even wrestling. I'm an All-American wrestler. When's the last time you see me claustrophobically wrestle somebody in a match? They forget about my wrestling. If I bring it back out, they're going to be like, I was prepared for him to throw the overhand right. Now he's taking me down. They forget that I'm near a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's what I started with right after wrestling. So, I just did the homework early. I spent the first 6 to 8 years of my career training for the what-ifs. I know I can wrestle, but if the fight starts striking, I spend 80% of striking. If I can outstrike everybody and I'm in crazy shape, nobody can take me down, I'm going to be very hard to beat for a long time. So I put the work in early. So now I'm at a position where, what are you going to do to me? You going to out-wrestle me? No. Name me one welterweight that's going to out-wrestle me. Not one on their roster. Name me one that's going to outstrike me. Name one that punch harder than me.
So if there was someone, give me names on the roster that you think you should see next.
I don't even care at this point.
So just send
everybody gonna get it.
Send them.
Because everybody got a lot to say.
Who's the UFC saying you should see next?
They don't even know.
So that's where the frustration comes from. The fact
I don't know if it's really frustration. What you got to realize in our sport is very, what have you done lately? Okay, I got knocked out badly, my first loss ever. I came back and I smoked somebody in 36 seconds. You think people brought up the knockout? They said Tyron, he's so vicious. He came in the UFC. He put everybody on notice. Nobody even mentioned that. People say, okay, he's a wrestler, because obviously in the earlier parts of your career, I'm gonna use my go-to. So I was doing it. He's just a wrestler. Then I started knocking people out, and I was a knockout artist. Then I started having some good fights that I just out-strategized.
And now fast forward, now you're boring.
When I knock somebody else, nobody's gonna mention those next fights.
Got it. So I love your confidence, and I also love the way you carry yourself. That's why I wanted to have you up here, because when I was like, wait, there's a champ in the UFC who they're calling boring, and a sport that when I grew up watching UFC, right? When I was when it was the Ken Shamrocks and there was some wars, but there was also strategy.
Yeah.
Right? And remember when they were saying that the holds was too long and then they wanted to speed up the holds and I was like, so wait a minute, now because there's more demand on this sport and there's more viewership on this sport, they're changing, I guess, the appeal and the entertainment factor to make it more entertainment. And to talk to somebody that's being called boring, I wanted to hear how that was played.
And I key in on a little bit of that, because if I just purely use wrestling in all my fights, which obviously that was my original background, I'll probably be undefeated right now. Nobody would be able to beat me. They wouldn't be able to get off the bottom. They wouldn't be able to strike with me, and I'll be put in a position where I'm constantly going to win that battle. But what have I done? Like, look at all my KOs and stuff like that.
You putting in that work.
I've shown. I know what the fans want to see.
Speaking of WWE, because you mentioned it, how do you feel about Ronda Rousey going to WWE?
I love it. I think she did what she needed to do in our sport. You don't want to forget about her legacy and what she did in the UFC, not just for female fighters, but just for us in general. She catapulted the UFC and MMA to a different level where everyone was tuning in. So I think she deserves to go into a different career path. Nobody wants to see her take any more damage. She beat a lot of ass in the UFC, and I think it was her time to.
What do you say to people who attribute her loss to being too celebrity and being in movies?
Her losses came because she fought against the women that had the ingredients to beat her. I don't care if she did no movies. I don't care if she did no interviews. If she was dedicated, she wasn't going to see Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes, I know her very well. Her striking is very nasty. She's very ornery, and she just presented the proper style matchup for Ronda Rousey. And that's all it was,
It was Ronda's time.
It's right, and not only her time. She can go back in there and compete against other fighters, but the thing about it is, fighter
that
has
matchup came at a time.
The matchup came at a time. She was out for a while, and she hadn't lost. And her first loss, she kind of evaporated and went away and hid in a corner. And just for me, mentally, it showed me what it did to her as a fighter. She was so glorified probably by her trainers in the world that it was embarrassing, and she just couldn't see herself getting beat. Nobody expected Holly Holm. She wasn't even supposed to get that shot. Misha Tate was supposed to get the shot, and then they said, you know what, we're going to do Holly Holm. Nobody really expected her to win. And she went out there and she just basically styled on Ronda, and it was embarrassing for her. So now she was so used to being a hammer, she didn't know what it felt like to be the nail.
Right. It got bad. I remember there were talks of like her possibly wanting to commit suicide. It was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you become obsessed with the stardom and obsessed with the fame. And I just remember I wanted to feel bad for Ronda, but you got to go through that. And I would have liked to see her take it a different way and come back like a champion should and show people, remind them. I remember those interviews before that fight. She was like, oh yeah, I'm giving her the chance and she'll be able to buy herself a little house in Albuquerque. She was just kind of really writing off Holly Holmes, and she never forget that lady again in
this point, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Are you how does a fighter at your level prepare for that? I mean, you don't think about that loss because that's setting yourself up, right? Like you go in.
I just come. Every time I've only lost 3 times. 3 days off of work. I didn't punch the clock in, and the next fight was an instant KO. People will forget.
You have to stand right back up. You have to get right back.
Not only stand back, you don't have to jump right back in. If you get knocked out, obviously you need to take some time. If it's a fight where you didn't train right, you need to fix some stuff. But you can't just go and hide. You can't be all jumping on the cage, pounding your chest, doing backflips and screaming and yelling when you win, and then when you happen to take an L, now you go crawl up in the ball. You got to come back and you got to show them you're a champion. You got to remind them of what got you to that point. And anytime I've lost, the next fight was a knockout, like a bad knockout. So people can't even remember the loss before.
So let's get to the circus that's brewing. What's the circus? The 3-ring circus. The Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Mayweather.
I was waiting. I'm like, man, y'all talking about Ronda Rousey?
Because I honestly am I'm not a huge UFC fan, but I am a fight fan. Like I'm not gonna watch all the nook and crannies, and but as things start to bubble to the top, I like to have real good fight talk. You know what I mean? Because I think that we're getting to a point in boxing where while we've been disappointed by this Canelo Triple G situation, right?
Was it 2 days ago they announced
that's not happening. That's postponed, but Triple G says he still wants to do it. But we watching this Wilder Joshua thing.
Is that really gonna happen?
They said I thought Wilder accepted the UK. He accepted to go to the UK and fight Joshua in the UK. That's the headline I read.
All right.
Now maybe I could be wrong, but I thought that's what I saw. But Mayweather says he's going to jump an Octagon.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I call it a circus is because I know Mayweather's about this bag.
Yeah.
He's quick. He's fast. Great with his hands. All that. You guys are training together?
Yeah, I'm gonna start training him, and just to look at the mixed martial art landscape. It's not like basketball or football where you have somebody draft. It's some trash people in the UFC. Just be honest. People that can't wrestle worth the hell. People don't have no jiu-jitsu, and they willing to go out there and swing and slug, get bloody, almost die, come back to life, and they go back and forth. You'll forever have a career in the UFC if you
You'll
fight
take just getting your head bashed and
some
showing
guys
up.
are put on the card and match up with other guys that are willing to give up their brain as well.
Yeah.
So with that said, is it really crazy to think that Mayweather can compete in UFC?
See, I didn't think about it in that context.
If he fights against somebody with doo-doo wrestling and terrible jiu-jitsu, now they got to stand with one of the greatest strikers out there? It's not really that crazy. His condition is never going to be a factor. Really, you just got to learn how to check kicks and defend.
So it's really about the matchups.
About the matchup, and also just, the ability to recognize that 3 minutes and 5 minutes are different. But if you know about Floyd and his training, you might spar. If you're a sparring partner of Floyd, it's the minute he wants to go. It ain't 3 minutes. If he want to do 12, he might do a 10-minute round, 7-minute round. It's really whatever he wants to do. And he's never been questioned on his conditioning. So I think the cadence on which you fight a 3-minute versus 5, you gotta make it count quicker.
So let me back up here. Mayweather how old is Mayweather now?
40.
40 what?
At 40 years old, wants to go in the UFC. We know there's obviously going to be some marquee.
Yeah.
But how does he go about making this happen? Like, is this something Dana White wants to have happen? Do you know?
I think the fact that when Conor went over to the UFC, went up to boxing, everybody thought that was crazy. And, he won a couple rounds. And
he did?
Now, yeah, he did on paper. Yeah, he won a couple rounds. I'm not finna send back Conor. Don't think I'm gonna back this man at all. He did on paper. He won a couple rounds, according to the judge's scorecard. Right? He didn't win many, but he might have won 1 or 2 rounds.
Okay.
Early rounds.
That shit was terrible, Bree. That shit was terrible.
You wasn't with it?
Terrible.
You sound like you from St. Louis.
That shit was terrible.
But
man.
Yeah, I think it's about the matchup, and it's got to be a fight or a person that's going to grow some amount that he's going to need to get his 300 or 400 million. And I think the UFC would be willing to pay it if they can get 6 to 8 off of it. You know what I mean? If it's good business for them. So our sport is one of the few sports that you can do for a long time. I'm going on my 13th year in MMA, and I still look young. I still feel fresh.
Because you can avoid being hit differently. You can do different things.
You get wiser. Wiser, and also, these younger guys are really spunky, but they don't have the experience in the octagon. They haven't been through the war. They haven't been knocked down. They have to get up and continue to win. They haven't had an injury in the fight, or they haven't had a round go really bad for them. Sit on the stool, get that 1-minute info from the coaches, and hop off that stool and be a better fighter. They haven't had that. So you can win with that. Also, if you have a strong skill set, you can win with that. Like if I'm fighting a young guy, I'm going to tag you to the body. I'm going to calm you right down right quick. All that spunk, all that pizzazz, I've done it a million times in sparring. No matter how great a shape you are, no matter how fast you are and agile, I start hitting you in that body, I'm going to start chipping away at you. So it's just a mentality. In our sport, the guys peak at between 35 to 40. That's their best years. Think about Anderson Silva. He really didn't start to taper down until he got to his late 30s.
Right.
Daniel Cormier is 39. The guys, once you get to that edge, you got to start evaluating. Are these young kids too fast, too quick, too hungry for me? If you can still compete with those guys, keep going. If you feel like that, the answer is no, get out the sport.
So Mayweather steps in the octagon. I think he said, give me 6 months? Is that what he said?
Yeah. It just sounds so soon.
6 months is not that soon, though, because really – He needs
still
to
trained.
defend takedowns, defend kicks, check kicks, and if you get taken down, pop back up. Footwork is the main defense in striking. Sometimes before somebody gets to your legs, you got to use your hands or use your head or use your hips. You get to the point where you can prevent people from getting to your legs by using footwork. You mean to tell me that he can see 10 punches come and make somebody miss, and he can't use the proper footwork to get out of the way of a takedown? You just translate it over,
So you're confident he'll be all right?
I think he'll be all right. No, I think he'll be all right. You know what? Before he even thought about doing this, I always looked at him, I'm like, man, if he was a wrestler, he would be a dope wrestler.
Why?
Just because of the way he's built, the way that he's moved, his footwork, and his IQ is bar none. His ability to see a punch come in a fraction of a second and make you look stupid and miss, like nothing really changes. You can apply that to anything. You know what I mean?
It's interesting, man. I know.
It's just always a circus with Mayweather. That's the problem. It's always so much hype, and you go in, and it's just not. Like the Conor thing, I was anti from the beginning, right? And I'm going to tell you, they got me too. Because when Conor started talking that race in the press conference, I was like, yo, fuck him up, yo. Yo, fuck him up right now. Because at first I was like, Yeah. He started talking. He said, what did he say? He said some shit.
Boy.
The boy pat his head.
There was some monkey shit that happened. I was like, yo, fuck him up.
I think they was in the back and they agreed upon what was below the belt and what wasn't.
Probably. It was scripted, but they got me. They got me. They got me.
They got a lot of people.
They got me. I was saying.
They finessed the game on that.
So I know they're going to finesse me again. That's why I'm calling it a circus. Because, I'm trying to. But I know something's going to happen.
Hey, I can't say much.
What weight class would Floyd be in UFC?
He got a couple of choices. 135, 145. 155 would be heavy, but he fought.
And you weigh?
He fought Conor at 154 in boxing, right?
You weigh?
I weigh 200, and I fight at 170.
So you too big for Floyd.
He's not gonna train with me and then fight me.
Why not?
Hey, we want to make
wherever
the money.
The bag comes. You see, I think you're gonna say that. Wherever the bag is at, let's get it.
No,
because if Floyd get $300 million or whatever he gonna ask for,
hey, in our sport,
you'll be like, yo, I dropped to 160. I won't eat for 4 months.
I will beat my dad up for $10 million.
Oh my goodness.
It's a whole different type of money.
Yo, this weekend UFC goes down where? You're in town for what?
Barclay. I'm in town for a couple reasons. I'm actually doing a rap album.
Oh, shit. Why'd you do this?
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah, so I'm doing a rap album, so I'm here mostly for that. I'm doing some PR for that. You breathing?
Who are you working with on this album?
I'm working with a couple different guys. I got Wiz on the song, a couple producers from St. Louis, a guy named Coco.
Why are you doing this, man? Why are you doing this?
Why not? I'm a part of the culture. What's rap? Rap is culture.
I mean,
I live the culture. I'm born in the culture.
But see, you live something.
Yeah.
You live this fight thing. You live this.
I know I don't. I fight 3 times a year. You know what I do?
You train.
I hustle.
You train to fight.
I act too. I do commentary. I do broadcast.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner.
This rap thing is, I guess there's a lot of people rapping. Shaq rapped, Iverson rapped.
Don't compare me to Shaq, please.
Shaq got platinums. What are you talking about?
But it's a difference.
You saying you better than Shaq?
What I'm saying is that
Shaq,
I'm
heard that?
I'm not.
You heard that?
I'm saying don't compare me to Shaq.
Shaq will put out a battle rap on your ass right now.
Shaq, let's go.
You saying you better than Shaq?
100%.
Are you better than
Dame Lillard?
Oh, Dame Lillard.
He go.
Dame Lillard. Oh, so you backing down to Dame Lillard?
No, I'm not backing down. I'm just saying he go.
It's different than rap.
If you would compare me to him, then I would not say don't ever compare me to him because he nice as an MC. Basketball left aside. So every category that I blaze, I want my acting career has nothing to do with MMA. I don't audition. I'm the UFC champion.
Right.
I go and I get it based upon my ring.
And you setting up for your career for later, which is smart.
Broadcast is separate from fighting.
It's just when it come to the rap thing,
you'll be a believer.
I don't know, bro.
I promise you.
We got to hear some more music. You got to at least
when you giving us a record?
We got to hear
something. You want a record? Oh, I got like 12, 13 songs already recorded. I give you a sneak piece of my first single.
I don't want no sneak pieces, fam.
You want the whole record?
I'm not a sneak peek guy.
You want the whole record?
When you go in to do your thing, nobody sneak pieces when you go in there. There ain't no sneak piece. I take rap the same way you take your shit.
Hey.
Your shit ain't fire. Turning that shit the fuck off, man.
Hey, you know what? You won't be turning it off.
You guarantee?
I guarantee you.
So how long you been rapping?
You know what? I started freestyle rapping in college. Actually, I got into this because I was doing a voiceover for an artist. So I was doing a voiceover, and then I said, you know what? I'm in a booth. I got to fucking do this. So I go in there. I freestyle to a whole song, nonstop. They're like, let me put on another beat.
Who's they?
Okay, so Coco is the dude that's produced a few of the songs. He did Shake Your Tail Feather, and he did Over and Over Again for Nelly.
Okay.
So he's a Grammy Award-winning producer.
He's accomplished.
So I basically went in there. I went over a beat, right? And then it was an artist, Chingy. They did his record, all these other St. Louis guys. So he let me hear Chingy's verse to the record. I said, I got to do a verse better than that. So I went and I freestyled to a second beat. And he said, you got another one. Then I did the third beat.
So you like a freestyle rapper?
No, I mean, I think
you just make songs?
If you think about me, politics, being a black athlete, coming from Ferguson, Missouri, being broke, being rich.
You got a lot to talk about.
I got a lot to talk about. It's not even that.
So let me ask you this: are you a poet? Do you write?
Oh yeah, I definitely write.
So you're right. So to clear your mind, you write.
Oh my God, I've been in the studio 4 days a week to 6 a.m., 11 p.m., 6 a.m., take my kids to school at 7 a.m., physical training for my shoulder at 9:30, boxing, strength and conditioning, chiropractor, pick my kids back up, feed them, do their homework, take them to their sporting deals, bring them back, feed them, shower them, put them in the bed, and back to the studio.
When do you sleep?
I don't need to sleep. Sleep is for broke people. That's what 50 said, right?
I don't listen. Don't listen to 50. All right.
Your body has to heal.
One thing
What are
you
you
don't
talking
do is listen to 50. That's what you don't do.
Well, for me,
I need you
I'm
to
so
sleep.
used to having a big plate. If you look at what I've done, no fighter has been in more movies than me. Not one. Not even close. Not Ronda Rousey. Not anybody. Or commentary. Or entrepreneurship. Or anything. That's just the way I'm built. I'm built to do a lot of stuff.
So you're gonna write a bunch of great songs, is what you're telling me.
Man,
But you're not like a freestyle bars rapper. That's not your zone.
I would prefer to sit down and think about what I'm talking about. Like a rapper that's coming up, that's trying to get a name, that's trying to push himself. That person should be freestyling like he ain't got no sense. He should be able to.
That's not what you. So you're not rapping for me right now. We're not doing it.
No,
right
you
now.
ain't. You ain't. I want to give you the album. Remember? No sneak peek. So now you want to get a sneak peek now. So now you want a sneak peek. You wanted the whole album, but I'm supposed to give you a sneak peek.
Yeah, I was ready. I was ready to give you get the fuck out with that rap shit.
Hey. One thing I can
But with the fight
you,
thing, I fuck with you with the fight thing.
One thing I promise you,
I'm gonna treat you different with the
fight
rap
thing,
shit.
the rap shit, the movie shit.
Well, the movie thing,
anything that I've ever
that
put
ain't
my hands
area
on
of
is gold.
expertise. The movie thing ain't my area of expertise. When it comes to judging rappers, I've been doing that for 30 years.
All right, let's go.
So what's the album gonna be called? What's the album?
I don't know yet. I got 12 tracks right now. I'm gonna record 15 to 16 tracks. I'm gonna sit down and pick the best 12, and then I'm gonna do the intro last, and that's gonna be the title of the.
A bit of advice.
Yeah,
it's a bit of advice. Always have everything ready.
What?
When you talk about you rap, when you start telling people you rap,
I got a whole album on my cell phone right now.
No, but you should have a title. You should have a drop date because it's the moment, right? It's the moment right here, right?
I'm
giving you shit about rapping. I'm talking shit to you. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta realize I got the thickest skin in this room.
No,
look at my Twitter.
That's fine.
Look at my Instagram.
All that's clean. All that's clean. But you should be ready right now. You should have a title, the drop date, boom, boom, pow. Should be ready right now. That way, boom, next week, 2 weeks, whenever. Because if this go out and Shaq diss you, you gotta have
that. That's a video and a YouTube post.
Yeah, but you gotta have your joint ready when people looking for it.
Well, I'm out here meeting with some record companies right now on the direction. So before I put anything out, before I label anything, it need to be a conducive movement and a team to say, this is how we're gonna do it, this is what we're gonna do. So that's why I haven't labeled it, that's why I haven't pushed it out, because I do everything in strategy. I don't just go out there and just fight anybody anytime. I'm not that guy. I'm fighting a fight that makes the most sense for me. Same thing with career-wise. If it's a movie that don't fit my bud, I need to not do it. If it's something that's great for my career, I need to do it. So I'm taking this as serious as I do fighting, and I'm gonna do it the right way. So that's why I don't have the title and the name, because the direction hasn't been set yet. So, but I'll send it to you.
We hear you talking.
You're gonna be a believer, and I want you. When you hear it, I want you to come back.
I'm gonna tell you something about me, and everybody in this room about. I like being proven wrong when it comes to music.
It's true.
I prefer somebody to be like, "Yo, fuck bro, my shit is hot," and the world respond, "That shit is hot." That just helps the culture, right?
Oh, yeah,
if you really put out great music that the people like, fuck what I think, right? But I'm gonna be the first one to be like, "Yo, your shit better not be trash."
Well, that's what I would rather have, because you know what? You think about our sport. If some coach is telling you, Ronda Rousey striking coach, say, "Oh, your striking is great," and then you get exposed in a fight,
it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad for everything. So if I didn't think that I can be a world champion status in this, I wouldn't even pursue it.
So you about to be a world champion rapper?
Man, I'm a world champion in everything I do. Father, rapper, actor, anything that I put my hands on is gold.
How many losses you got in UFC?
In the UFC, 2.
So you've held the L before?
Yeah.
So you comfortable with that? If an L comes from this rap
thing.
L
won't come from this rap thing.
L's happen, man.
I'm gonna tell you this. I've learned from my L, so that way I make sure that I don't visit that.
But you've seen an L before.
This dude.
So when I sling one at you,
you will not be issuing an L. I want you to mentally want it to sound so whack and so doo-doo and so garbage. I want you to think that way, and I want you to. I'm gonna give you my cell phone number, and I'll be awaiting you to call me and tell me, you know what?
Call me. And
I'm gonna say, no, don't call me privately.
Yeah,
your ass
on the radio. Call me on the radio.
And you gonna fucking give me the cred.
Yo, man, give it up, bro.
All right,
it was a pleasure meeting you, man.
Appreciate it, my
Definitely.
Man.